Hey, hi, I'm Glenn. I just want to share some, I don't know, some God winks, I guess I would call them, or some huge spiritual miracles in my life. This has just happened like last month. I decided to take a train trip to Iowa because my dad wanted to go to, I mean Utah. And I said, we actually can make that happen. He's 88, has really tough time getting around with mobility, but you can get a car, like a room in a train where he would have his own bathroom and he could travel with a nurse and then he could go. So we were kind of planning this that, there would be maybe a time that we could get like family to come over and say hi to him and stuff. But anyway, it didn't work out because at the time I had this caregiver who was crucial to him taking this trip. And it turns out she had her own agenda and she nearly walked away on August 11th. I was going to a seminar in North Carolina on the 14th, to which she almost quit just before that seminar. And anybody else probably would have fired her and not gone on this trip. But for me, I did it differently. I told her I was going to this seminar if I had to leave him alone by himself all weekend. And I meant it. I am going whether she walked out or not. And the weekend came and it was phenomenal. She stayed through that weekend, which I don't know how this happened. God arranged this. She was there when I arrived home late on Sunday, August 17th. The next morning when I got up, she was gone. And she has not been back here since. So that was really a miracle that I went to the seminar in North Carolina. But, since she left, I'm like, okay, my dad's not going to be able to travel because his nurse just left. But I thought, man, I still want to go on this trip. So I had this strong desire to go despite her bailing out. Since she left, I had to place him in a nursing home, and that all happened really fast. But I decided I wanted to go on this trip anyway, and somehow something in me said that I knew that if I didn't go immediately, it would never happen. So the day he went to the nursing home, I drove to Iowa to get on the train here in Osceola. So I don't know if you can see this right here, straight from Dassel, straight down to Osceola. That's where I went and got. I didn't want to get on the train to go all the way to Chicago and then come back out, so I drove there to get on in Osceola. It was the most direct station for me to get on board. And I boarded at 8:45 p.m. and I pretty much slept through all of Nebraska. Sorry, Cornhuskers. That's the train schedule. And I did take some video along the way that, and I took like hours of video because when you're riding the train, you can see the countryside and you don't have to drive and you can get up and walk around. There's an observation car and everybody in the train is happy. Nobody's in a hurry. They know we got lots of time to sit and visit and play cards and talk and just it's really, really relaxing, a relaxing way to go. Um, so let me go on to the next slide here. I found the rear of the train and I made a little video of that too, which I thought was pretty cool. How many times do you see a video of, the rear of the train? I thought that was really cool. So I'm kind of talking in there, but I'm going to skip over that. So when I got to Utah, this is where I stayed, was in Green River, Utah. It's the first stop in Utah. I had thoughts of going out to Arches National Park to walk through a real arch, because in the big book it talks about walking through a spiritual arch. Well, it helps me to physically do these kinds of suggestions and to walk through a spiritual arch into the realm of the spirit. Well, it wasn't Gwen friendly to spend 4 hours going out to the park. So I just explored Green River and loved it. I was there a week ahead of Melon Days, which is their city celebration. And so while I was there, I visited this John Wesley Powell River History Museum, and it was really cool. And I found these mushrooms that were like planted in front of a hotel. It says, "Please don't, uh, please don't take these," or something like that. And this is me in front of this Glen Canyon Expos. It was a photography exhibit that was at this museum. So I went in and I checked out this museum, and I found this statue, this sculpture in here. It was just gorgeous. And I think they're looking for God. It was just so beautiful with so many details. And I'm gonna play this video so you can see it. Really cool. And it might take a few minutes. It's 2 minutes long. But over here is a close-up of another piece of it where his signature is. It's got these little hands there like he's peeking out. It has so many beautiful details in it. Screwing around a chair right here. Wow. Yep, there I am being clumsy. But yeah. And this, I went out here because I had a set of books that I got from this seminar in North Carolina, and something told me take the books with. Okay, I can pack them and bring them along. I didn't know why. I just had the feeling to bring them, so I did. And I didn't know who I was going to give them to. I thought, well, am I supposed to give them to somebody who's Mormon? Wasn't sure. I only know like maybe two people who live in Utah, and one of them are like really distant relatives that I don't even know if I could find any of them left. Um, but I think this video is going to be a little bit too long to watch, huh? Eh, you can see the end of it, I guess. See it down there with the little boat down there. Really cool. The carving on that is just amazing. If you ever got to Green River, Utah, you've got to go to this museum and see that sculpture. It's just amazing. Wow, pretty cool. So the next slide here. Look at this thing. This is like close-ups of part of it where they're climbing up here and they're helping each other get up there. I kind of equate it to they're trying to get to this really high spot because they're looking for God and they're helping each other along the way. And then on the very top, up above, straight up above that sculpture was this panel directly above it. It was really moving to see that. It was kind of like, is this the essence of God that's there for them to find? They're not looking up, but they're looking all the way around. So then I went down to the Green River, and this was within walking distance of the hotel I was at. Green River is a really teeny town. They don't even have a car rental, so that's kind of why I didn't go out to Arches National Park. But just the scenery there was just so incredible, and very beautiful. And then here I really like this one here, this here butte over here. And then I got this one here with some. Oh, we had some construction stuff, and Pepsi had been there and gone. And there I am with that's just down at Green River too. I walked alongside of it for I don't know, maybe a quarter mile. They had a trail in there. And this is the arch that I found to walk under. Because, I asked God, I said, geez, God, I don't think I can get out there to Arches National Park. And kind of the answer he gave me was, don't make things so hard for yourself. Make them simple, and simple is good enough. So here I find this watermelon that's getting ready for the melon days the following weekend, and it's under an arch. So I walked under that arch to signify a spiritual arch. Watermelon arch is what I got. So I had this set of books that I got from North Carolina. I don't know why, but I felt the need to bring them along. Maybe I was to deliver them to someone in Utah. I kind of said that the Mormon state, so I thought maybe that's what I was looking for. I only had two possibilities. One was a fellow member and a distant relative that would have to be dug up, and both of those didn't really come forward like God would probably have the destination of these books like appear. And I hadn't found where these books were to go, but I had a beautiful time while I was there. When I boarded the train to go home, I know I booked a sleeper roomette. Instead, I was seated in seat number 63 in the coach. Across the aisle in seat number 64 was the chattiest guy I had never hoped to meet. But here he was, and he talked nonstop. Interesting as hell, though. Very interesting. First thing he said was, people don't read enough books. Or, I think what he said was, people don't read, period. And here's a God wink. He was getting off the same stop as me in Osceola, Iowa. I was driving right by his destination in Nevada, Iowa. I drove him from the train station all the way to the library in Nevada where I dropped him off. Well, what about this set of books? He had talked all the way there, and I never had a chance to present them to him. I got out when I dropped him off at the library. I got out of the library, and I sat and I wrote a two-way prayer to God. Oh, darn if I can find that letter now. Anyway, the guy had asked me earlier in the trip if I would borrow him $200 at some point. Uh, in the 30-hour trip, he asked me, and I told him, oh, I would just give him $200. And I thought of that when I was writing this letter. So now in the two-way letter, God tells me to do what you intend to do. Oh, so I go to Casey's, I get $200 out of my ATM, out of the ATM. I go back to the library to give him the books. Even then, he put me off saying he was busy. So I said, okay, here, I'm going to make this quick. I gave him my spiel, which I didn't know I had a spiel. I wasn't sure that was even, I wasn't sure what that was, even. And for the first time in 33 hours, he was speechless. The first time in 33 hours, he was speechless. I had his attention. I opened up the first book and I said, you're the one I've been looking for. You're the reason why I came to Utah and have been looking for someone that is supposed to get these books. I said, you're the one that these are supposed to go to. I said, here's $200. It's a good thing you like to read because you got a lot of reading to do ahead of you, buddy. And then I left. He never got my name, but I got his. But here's the clincher that I know God was directing me. I found this guy on the platform of the train station when I got on in Green River, Iowa. I found myself sitting across from who was the guy I was looking for, I guess. I didn't know it at the time, but I could have blown up about, booking a sleeper car, and I could have gotten mad at them, could have gotten mad at whoever the ticket agents were. But instead of doing that, I just accepted that, okay, I guess I'm not in a sleeper car. God knows what he's doing. I just accepted that I'm going to be riding in coach and I'm going to be listening to this guy for the next 30 hours. And it wasn't until I got home that I realized that this little stuffed guy here had something to do with God telling me I was right on target. I thought he resented the target being acquired for delivering these books, but on reading his name tag, it is actually bullseye. Have you ever heard that sin is a term used in archery that means missing the mark? Bullseye is what we get when we are spot on and sinless. I did everything of my own free will and enjoyed it all. No hurrying, just learning and exploring. When it was time, the guy presented himself as the one I was looking for. And that has been such a phenomenal thing that I don't know how else I can explain it, but it's just been a miracle. That's all I got.